the U.S. government. The Hollywood screenwriter Melissa Mathison, who is credited with one of the most famous lines of American cinema history, has died at the age of 65. Mathison wrote the screenplay for Steven Spielberg's blockbuster E.T. the Extraterrestrial, including the line, "E.T. Phone Home." BBC News.
Your connection to quality cannabis insurance services is spelled K-A-E-R-C-H-E-R. That's Karcher Insurance. We have worked with ventures like cannabis for over 60 years. We're proud to represent over 50 companies with tailor-made cannabis plans for owners just like you to insure your product, your plants, and your pursuits. K-A-E-R-C-H-E-R spells out their full-service insurance services, ranging from commercial to bonds to personal, from life to health, and more. Contact the team at KarcherInsurance.com and let our experience work for you. That's K-A-E-R-C-H-E-R Insurance.com.
Contact Karen and the team at Karcher Insurance at 1-844-421-3560. That's 844-421-3560.
From Feature Story News in Washington, I'm Kate Fisher. British Prime Minister David Cameron will hold talks with Egyptian President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi on Thursday at Downing Street, just a day after the UK halted all flights into the Red Sea resort of Sharm el-Sheikh amid security concerns. British officials now say there is a significant possibility that an explosive device brought down the Russian Metrojet plane that crashed in the Sinai on Saturday, killing all 224 people on board. From London, Catherine Drew reports.
The move to halt all UK flights to Sharm el-Sheikh, a favourite with British tourists, is a significant blow to Egypt's vital tourism industry and an embarrassment for the Egyptian authorities. All flights were suspended after a team of British security experts analysed security at the airport Wednesday, prompting the government to advise against all but essential travel through the airport. Travel advice for the region, though, has not changed. This is likely to dominate talks at Downing Street as the two leaders meet to discuss security concerns relating to Islamic State militants and the situation in Syria and Iraq. The talks have been criticised by human rights campaigners who describe President Sisi as a dictator who has violently cracked down on dissent.
US intelligence sources are also saying that they believe a bomb planted by ISIS or an affiliate may have been responsible for downing the flight. In Washington, here's Kevin McAleese.
The US position that Islamic extremists may have planted a bomb on the aircraft echoed earlier analysis from the United Kingdom. An unidentified source told CNN a device may have been planted in luggage or somewhere on the plane. However, US State Department spokesman John Kirby, when pressed on who or what was responsible for the crash, insisted the US government would not be rushed to judgment.
Everybody would like to have answers as soon as possible, most especially the families that are grieving. But the investigators are still at it, and we got to give them the time and the space to do their job.
This new assessment came after the White House addressed concerns over US citizens travelling to the region, making it clear that US airliners did not operate over the area affected by Saturday's air disaster.
US Defence Secretary Ashton Carter and his Malaysian counterpart are planning to sail aboard a US warship that has been patrolling in disputed waters of the South China Sea. The move underscores regional tensions over China's territorial claims there. Daniel Wrenches reports from Washington.
Ashton Carter and the Malaysian Defence Minister Hishamuddin Hussein will sail on board the nuclear-powered aircraft carrier, the USS Theodore Roosevelt, on Thursday. It follows on directly from a meeting of regional defence ministers in Malaysia in which differences appeared over China's maritime territorial claims. US warships recently sailed within disputed waters.
From bureaus worldwide, this is FSM. Mexico's Supreme Court has ruled that people should have the right to grow marijuana for personal use. The decision doesn't change the current law, but it does lay the groundwork for legal changes in the future. Andrea Arenas reports.
Today's ruling could start a wave of legal actions aimed at relaxing legislation against people who want to grow marijuana for personal consumption, as well as those who need to use the plant for medicinal purposes. The Supreme Court took on this case as a result of an appeal filed by a marijuana advocacy group. The group had previously been denied its request to grow the plant for recreational purposes. Experts say the ruling may lead to a reduction in drug-related violence in Mexico, where the illegal drug trade is ruled by gangs. Andrea Arenas, Washington.
Facebook has released earnings for the third quarter, announcing that over 1 billion people use the social media site every day. And with revenue also beating Wall Street estimates, Facebook's founder and CEO Mark Zuckerberg called it a good quarter. William Denslow has more from New York.
Last month, Facebook announced it would invest more in its family of apps, including WhatsApp, Messenger and Instagram, to boost advertising revenue. And that investment appears to be paying off. Ad revenue was up at $4.3 billion this quarter, especially boosted by Facebook's video advertising. Thanks to spending on projects like virtual reality, costs and expenses for Facebook were up at 68% from last year. But total revenue was still up 41% at $4.5 billion. Monthly active user growth was also up 14% from last year, with over 1.5 billion people using the site each month, with over 1 billion people now logging on each day. William Denslow, New York.
And that's the latest feature story news. Kate Fisher reporting.
Puff, puff. Share it with a friend. CannabisRadio.com.
From the Sky News Centre at 8, the government will hold an emergency COBRA meeting this morning after recommending against travel to and from Sharm el-Sheikh airport in Egypt. There's mounting evidence that a bomb caused the Russian plane crash on Saturday in the Sinai Peninsula. An IS-affiliated group is claiming responsibility. Foreign Secretary Philip Hammond says there are plans in place to bring British tourists back.
There's no need for people to leave ahead of schedule unless they wish to. If anybody wishes to leave early, we expect the airlines will arrange to bring them back early, but there is no threat to them in their hotels going about their normal business in Sharm el-Sheikh.
Almost half of young people living at home say their parents know only some of what they do online. 11% told the study for Barnardo's that their parent or carer understood nothing about what they get up to. Morrison's insists it's making good progress in its turnaround plans. That's despite the supermarket's comparable sales falling 2.6% in its third quarter. Motorway drivers could be fined £100 for exceeding the speed limit by just 1 mile an hour. The idea has been put forward by Bedfordshire Police for a section of the M1 to raise revenue. In sport, Chelsea's under-pressure manager Jose Mourinho has thanked the club's fans who sang his name throughout what could turn out to be a big win in the Champions League last night. They beat Dynamo Kiev 2-1 at Stamford Bridge.
With Chelsea, this is my moment because it was amazing. So I think the club has to be very proud of their fans. I don't have another way to thank them than give everything I have, which I did always, which I will do always.
Arsenal's hopes of reaching the last 16 look precarious after they were thrashed 5-1 at Bayern Munich, and England's cricketers look to be heading for defeat in the final test against Pakistan in Sharjah. 4 wickets fell for 11 runs in the opening half hour of the final day. A short while ago, England were 108 for 7, needing another 176 runs. That's the latest. I'm Simon English.
Your connection to quality cannabis insurance services is spelled K-A-E-R-C-H-E-R. That's Karcher Insurance. We have worked with ventures like Cannabis for over 60 years. We're proud to represent over 50 companies with tailor-made cannabis plans for owners just like you to insure your product, your plants, and your pursuits. K-A-E-R-C-H-E-R spells out their full-service insurance services ranging from commercial to bonds to personal, from life to health, and more. Contact the team at KarcherInsurance.com and let our experience work for you. That's K-A-E-R-C-H-E-R Insurance.com.
Contact Karen and the team at Karcher Insurance at 1-844-421-3560. That's 844-421-3560. 888-848-3560.
Dr. Dabber, hurry! Its temperature is shooting past 1,000 degrees Fahrenheit. It's burning up.
I'm afraid for this little guy, it's just too late.
What caused the problem?
Only Dr. Dabber can maintain the perfect temperature for a smooth-tasting, slower burn. This standard vaporizer lost all of its health benefits, sending it up in smoke.
So you're telling me that most vapor pens burn so hot they produce smoke, not vapor?
Correct. Keep away from those standard vaporizer pens and turn to Dr. Dabber. Doctor's orders.
Less heat, more flavor.
Maui Wowie. Acapulco Gold. California Kush. Our strains stretch everywhere, too. This is the Cannabis Radio Network.
This is the USA Radio Business Report. I'm Russ Jones. Federal regulators are hitting Japanese airbag maker Takata with the largest fine in the history of the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. NHTSA Administrator Mark Rosekind announced the penalty.
Takata agrees to pay the largest civil penalty in NHTSA's history, $200 million. It must pay $70 million in cash and remaining amounts if it violates the terms of NHTSA orders.
Takata will have to phase out and recall all the defective airbag inflators that have been known to rupture. Officials are also accelerating recalls of the defective airbags.
It orders the 12 manufacturers that have issued Takata recalls to complete those recalls on an accelerated schedule and to prioritize vehicles based on risk.
More than 19 million vehicles in the U.S. have already been recalled over the issue. This is the USA Radio Business Report. I'm Russ Jones.
USA Radio News, I'm Anthony Lucero. A Senate panel is investigating pharmaceutical pricing. The bipartisan group is looking for documents from 4 drug makers, including 2 caught up in a controversy over massive price hikes for life-saving drugs. The Senate Special Committee on Aging is probing Valiant Pharmaceuticals and Turing Pharmaceuticals over the increases. Turing is on the hot seat for pushing the price of a drug that battles a deadly parasitic infection by more than 5,000%. Valiant reportedly hiked the cost of a blood pressure treatment by more than 600%. Authorities in Illinois are calling the shooting death of a police officer a suicide staged to look like a murder. The Lake County Major Crimes Task Force says an overwhelming amount of evidence shows that Lieutenant Charles Joseph Glenowitz took his own life after stealing money from the Fox Lake Police Department for years. The officer was found shot to death on September 1st after he had radioed in to say that he was chasing 3 suspects on foot. You're listening to USA Radio News.
Owning and caring for a home comes with a lot of to-dos. Tune up the furnace, clean the gutters, remodel the kitchen. Whatever your home improvement need, Home Advisor can help you find a pro you can trust to get the job done right. Go to rebuild.homeadvisor.com for instant access to top-rated pros in your area, including electricians, handymen, plumbers, whatever type of home pro you need. And Home Advisor is absolutely free to use. At Home Advisor, you can read customer reviews of the pros, even use the cost guide to find out what hundreds of other home projects cost in your area. And because Home Advisor knows it's important to find a pro you can trust in your home, they conduct background checks on their service professionals. It's just one of the reasons more than 25 million homeowners have used Home Advisor. Go to rebuild.homeadvisor.com to find the right pro for your project. That's rebuild.homeadvisor.com.
Supporters of a gay rights ordinance rejected by Houston voters are now talking about a Super Bowl boycott. The Houston Equal Rights Ordinance would have established non-discrimination protections for the LGBT residents in the city. It was voted down by a large margin on Tuesday. ABC News says that supporters of the ordinance are now suggesting boycotts and other ways to bring attention to LGBT rights. A Houston attorney who led a campaign supporting the measure says that there are rumblings of plans to ask the NFL to move the Super Bowl, which is coming to Houston in 2017. Mercedes-Benz is recalling over 126,000 vehicles over problems with airbags. A faulty unit in the airbag system could cause the airbags to inflate unexpectedly or not deploy at all. The recall affects 2008 and 2009 C-Class models, as well as 2010 GLK Class models. Mercedes says that the defect could result in injury. You're listening to USA Radio News, powered by westernjournalism.com.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, U.S. Tax Shield can help you take back control. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Our team of tax attorneys can stop collections and get you protected. U.S. Tax Shield offers a price protection guaranteed quote to get you protected today. U.S. Tax Shield is A+ rated with the BBB, so call 800-479-2697. U.S. Tax Shield, 800-479-2697.
Tuesday was Election Day in several areas, and it turned out to be a very big day for Republicans. The GOP brought home wins in several states, while a number of liberal policy measures were ultimately defeated. USA's Russ Jones explains.
Republicans had plenty to celebrate with victories in Virginia, New York, Maine, Mississippi, and Kentucky. A conservative who identifies with the Tea Party, Lieutenant Governor-elect Janine Hampton became the first African-American elected statewide in Kentucky history.